In my humble opinion, a leader is a person who's plugged into an intent and realizes that in order to manifest the intent, he needs a team. And the leader is going to do everything in his power, not only to be the best at what he does, but to make sure that everybody else in the team achieves their greatest potential, because that's how you manifest an intent. That's what makes a leader in my humble opinion. They're plugged into an intent. And what makes them a good leader is their capacity to allow that intent to mobilize them, move them, transform them, and they serve the intent totally and selflessly. And when they see a person in their team who's having a hard time, what does it mean to have a hard time? They have a hard time tuning themselves to the intent and letting go of their own so-called individuality in order to serve the intent, which means they'll fail. It creates friction, in other words. So they'll help that person relax and remove the obstructions so that they become better vehicles of the intent in order for the team to accomplish its goal. That's a leader. So the leader is the one who serves the intent the most. Or if we don't want to say the most, he's the one who's the most capable of serving the intent. And is in service of the intent. So I don't know how to say if it's most. Yeah, it's most. And everyone can grow in their service to the intent and serve the intent more. So that's a leader, in my opinion. It is the intent that they serve that is the God, the deity in charge. It's not them, and they know that. So when whatever they're doing is for the success of the intent. And in their actions, they're helping their comrades, if you'd like, their partners or their associates or their team players. And the team players may feel that he really genuinely cares. In a way he does, but what he cares about is the manifestation of the intent. And therefore, I should and must care for my teammates. So I genuinely care about my teammates, but my real heart is for the intent. That's, in my opinion, how you define a leader. In the process, well, what happens? The intent has to be clarified within yourself as a leader. Then you work with a group, and then you realize some people have limitations, so their position becomes clearer. Some people have no interest in serving the intent. They need to be lovingly removed, dare I say. They cannot be there because they're not there to serve. How can a team win if not every single player in the team wants to, quote-unquote, win, serve the intent? It's impossible. You'll never win. Even the water boy has to serve the intent. So there's no such thing as a lower job or a lower position. There's different tasks, different levels of responsibility. The person who represents the quote-unquote water boy, well, it's a big responsibility, but compared to management, it's a simpler task. Yeah, but the task is as important, and if the organization is properly done, it will give the job to a person who's, for him, that task is a challenge. And they want to do it well, and they have to learn, develop the skill set at that level to do it well. Well, let's be honest. There's the idea, this mythical idea of a leader, but any person who serves an intent at a level is a leader. First of all, as I said, you're your own entrepreneur, your business is yourself. So if you decide to work, you should be the leader of yourself. Why I'm doing this? To do my job well, to improve my job so that I work in collaboration with the others. So there's this a grandiose idea of a leader, this commander, and everybody's a weakling following. I'm like, that's not how an organization wins. Organization wins because everybody's a leader. It's just they don't fight for the same position. If my job is to be the best water boy, well, I lead myself in doing my job the best. And eventually, as I grow in my capacity to be a water boy, then I'm going to be given 3 or 5 employees that facilitate my job because I have more water to distribute. So now I'm a leader at that level. I'm not the one at the top of the organization, but I'm a leader. I start by being the leader of my job because I want to succeed, because I want to do my job well. I want to bring what I bring so that the whole can win. The whole can succeed, so that the intent can manifest itself, and that's my part. Then in that position, eventually, as the organization grows, I'll be given or granted the opportunity to manage other people so that I can do more of what I do. So I'm a water boy, just me. Now I have 10 people working for me so I can distribute more water. So I'm a water boy, I'm a leader at that level. And each now individual water boy is going to have to be the leader of themselves so that they lead themselves in doing what they're supposed to do. So again, the leadership is a concept that is through movies, aggrandized and whatnot. But when you understand how organizations functions, any kind of organization, well, everybody has to be self-sufficient in a way. Self-sufficient, that means I want to succeed. And I want to do and be the best at what it is that I do and what I bring. And in order to do that, I have to be an entrepreneur. That means understand my value, what I do, what I don't do, what I do with my time, how to best invest my time to achieve success, how to best collaborate with others so that they can achieve success. Well, that makes me a leader, doesn't it? And in the advent that I'm placed in a position of responsibility, that means I work, I hire people, or people are hired to help me do my job at a greater level, then I'm a leader at that level. Floor manager in a restaurant is a leader. But then there's the chef, he's a super leader. He runs the whole kitchen, plus the whole restaurant, but then there's a floor manager. Make sure everything's at its place, the salt and pepper is full, right? So all kinds of different levels of leadership. But like I said, it starts as an individual. I lead myself. I know what I love, I know the intent I want to serve, and I lead myself. Then, because I serve an intent, it brings me, it galvanizes other people who serve that intent, and that starts to create an organization. Then if I'm really serious about achieving greatness or achieving the highest level of capacity that I have, then I'm like, well, that person will help me to get there. So a quote-unquote perfect system is as capitalist as socialist. Capitalism represents individuality and socialism represents collectivity. But there's no such thing as collectivity without individuals, and individuals cannot succeed unless there's collectivity. Well, that's a harmonized system, masculine and feminine energy. Individual is, let's say, masculine, collective is feminine. Yeah, but if you want to achieve greatness, you need a group. And within that group, you need to find your place and respect the hierarchy. Funny, eh? Of your particular place and what you do and what other people's do and what you contribute and what they contribute. Yet you still need to be the leader of yourself. That means I do my job to the best of my capacity, and maybe I'm assigned other people that I'm responsible of, and I help them, and that fits in a greater picture. So all of this, in my humble opinion, has to be born from within. If it's not, it's born from the mind. I got nothing against the mind, but the mind always operates. When the mind takes over, it's because, this is going to be deep. It's covered in the other videos. When the mind takes over, that means that's the leader of your life. You're not being pushed by dharma. You're not being moved, would be the right word, by dharma, which means the way of life, the power of life itself. That means something else has to move you, and that's the mind. And the mind is going to move you. The mind takes over when you are disconnected from dharma. That means you don't have access to actual resources. And then the mind, its basic primary forces, which is greed, anger, ego, attachment, and lust, which are the basic energies of survival, take over. When these energies take over, well, the way the organization is going to run is going to change now. It's still going to need a group, because group can accomplish more. But some people are going to compensate for others. They're going to say, fuck you, why I should take all this responsibility and not get paid more. Then other people will say, yeah, but without me you don't have this, so there's a power struggle, and it's a fucking mess. Everybody wants power over the other person. The person's at the bottom and say, fuck you, why I should do, Why I should build your little machine. I'm going to sabotage your shit so your whole thing fucks up, so that you know who's got the real power, and that's the mindset. So then you're going to create a structure so that, well, it's very clear who's in control. So if you're not plugged into the life power, dharma power, that means the alignment, the necessity, the inner standing that you have a special place in the collective, and the collective has a special place in your life. It's two sides of the same coin, and that you understand that and respect the self-process and the group process, and they're supposed to work in tandem. When you don't grasp that, then you're led and controlled by the mind, which then will start to organize and structure things, and it seeks the same thing, optimality. But it doesn't care now about the well-being of individuals, because people are, well, human resources. And at the end of the day, what people don't realize, and they're starting to realize it, is that when you think that you're serving yourself, in the modern world, people think that they're serving themselves. They've been conned in believing this. They're in reality serving a mind, and I've already said it before, and some people will understand, it's a Luciferian mind. I didn't say it's evil, I said it's Luciferian. And in reality, they are serving that mind which sells them the illusion that they're serving themselves. That's what that mind offers you. You'll be like God. But what they're really doing is serving that mind which uses everyone for its own well-being. Its own life depends on everybody being a slave. It just creates ranks of slave, upper slaves and the rest. They're all slaves. But it gives certain boons to the upper class slave. Fair enough. But that's not the way of nature. That's the way of disease, which I call the Luciferian mind, and that disease is intelligent. It's there to ensure the survival of the species in the light of a primary lesion. We don't have to push this too far, but I just want to make things clear.